Gustavo, você está cada vez acertando mais na mosca, hein?
Obrigado. É que a gente tem bons amigos também que nos ajudam.
Esse cara aqui é demais. Ele já esteve no Brasil, né?
Sim, sim.
E depois desapareceu. É um cara que tem vinhedo orgânico, que tem vinhedo biodinâmico e que faz vinhos sensacionais. Giusti&Zanza, conta pra gente como é que foi isso.
Olha, isso na verdade foi um telefonema, acredite se quiser, do Giacomo e do pai dele. Me ligaram um dia aqui na loja, inclusive, atendi, falando inglês. Aí eles se identificaram, fiquei, nossa, lisonjeado.
Que bacana!
E começamos a conversa, eles com interesse que a gente representasse eles aqui no Brasil. E pra mim é uma honra, né?
E hoje nós vamos ter um almoço que é um privilégio.
Correto,
com os vinhos dele e falando com eles pela internet.
Pela internet, vamos estar com eles virtualmente.
Ah, que bar. Vamos mostrar isso tudo então. Maravilha. Show, obrigado, hein?
Obrigado a você. Fine. Now we are here with some good friends, some clients, and of course people from profit from the wine business. And what a pleasure to be here with you guys, and good to see you both again as a family. It's always beautiful to see you both together.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure for us. Really, we appreciate your time. What time is it over there?
Here is 1 p.m.
1 p.m.
Yes. It's lunchtime. Perfect to taste some beautiful wines.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So, thank you one more time to be here to make the official presentation of Giusti&Zanza in WeinhausExzellenz. For us, a huge pleasure. And of course, my clients, my friend now is yours. And make yourself comfortable to present your beautiful wines. I think most of people here knows already your wines. But now in the new partnership, we hope to do a beautiful work together.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. As soon as we met Olavo, we really appreciate him, his professionality, and we believe it could be a great fit to our estate, really. So again, thanks for your time.
No, thank you, Giacomo.
Should we start off with the estate and a bit of our history?
Yes, please make yourself comfortable. Tell about your history, your family history, and your winery, about the wines, of course. It will be a pleasure to listen a little bit.
So, my name is Giacomo Giusti. This is my dad, Paolo. Our family, we've been apart since Temutas Copici, the estate we own today in between Pisa and Livorno, north of Bolgheri. The estate started producing wines around the 1700s. Then my granddad in the 80s decided to acquire the shares from one of his cousins so he could give the estate a direction. That's easy to comprehend because after roughly 250 years, they got to a point where they were roughly 100 cousins, 80 cousins. So he obviously, by having just one owner, he could really give an input to the estate. His dad, my granddad, Bruno, was a huge fan of high-density plantation. Even though he had back then, there was not, the enology and the knowledge behind the wines that we got today. He grasped the concept that through more quantity, you would have through less quantity, you would have more quality. So he did the opposite of what, Fattori, estate owners were doing back then, and he decided to plant vineyards in such a way that these vines would produce the least amount of quantity possible. It's easy to see if you, I don't know if Olavo has any plan of our estate. There would be plants, our vineyards, extremely similar to what you may find in Bordeaux. So we do high-density planting, and we have 1 meter in between each vine. Keep in mind a typical Tuscan vineyard may have 2.5 or 3 meters in between vines, and the typical yield of, let's say, a Sangiovese in our area may be 6 to 8 kilos. Our plants yield roughly 800 grams. So the difference in the output of the vine is crucial. That is, if we had to put in a nutshell our estate and what we do, it would be that. We do very high, extreme high density plantation, and the tiny bit thing is that since 2008 we've been organic. So if I had to, put our estate into a nutshell, it would be these two elements.
This kind of viticulture is quite unusual in Tuscany and in Italy, but the main effort is mainly in the quality of the ripeness of the grape. As Giacomo said, when a vine produces too much grape in each vine, compared with the surface of the grain, the ripeness is not perfect at the end of September. And another effort of this kind of viticulture is, especially in this period of climate change, when we have a long period of dry time, the fact of the vine is so close one to each other, determinate a very high competition in the root and surface, and the root must go deep. And year after year, the vine develop a very deep root in the soil. And with this kind of root, the vine can find a little bit of humidity also in the most dry time of the summer. And the grain remain active and the ripeness of the grape continue. In that way, we can produce high quality of grape, and it's incredible for the quality of the wine.
Yes. If you give me a chance, Olav, I can share my screen and just give a quick video.
Yeah, of course.
Look to, yeah.
Let's do it.
And who is the opera lover in the family?
Sure, me and my father.
Fantástico. Sì, una furtiva lacrima.
Una furtiva lacrima.
So,
Yeah, if you just give me the admin information, I'm just.
yeah, and one moment, I'm not.
Just to give you a quick view of what we meant by high density. Of course, this is one of our canals. In here, you can find some quick data, like the plantation density is always extremely high, from 7,000 to 10,000 vines per hectare. This is where we are located at. So, of course, as you can see, this will be the area of Bolgheri, this is the government of Pisa, and we are right in the middle. This is the comune, the small province where we are located at. That is what we meant by high density plantation. As you can see, there's the gap in between the vines, the rows is much bigger, and when it comes down to the reason behind why my branded big high density plantation, it was because by doing so, you would create a competition for resources in between the vines. These would take the stronger ones to prevail over the weaker ones, and to have much less product, much less yield, but much higher quality. And in the end, again, yield from typical implants may go from 4 to 8 kilos. We get out of these plants roughly 600 grams. Then, I didn't even know if we wanted to talk about it, but yes, my granddad was a huge fan of the opera, Pavarotti, the Elixir of Love. That was his biggest passion. the opera, lyrical opera, and wines. And as some of you look like you're familiar, the Elixir of Safety encapsulates these two elements, the love of opera and wine. The opera is the most famous opera about wine, and all of our wine's name come from the opera. A tiny thing, a great friend of mine, Brandon, was Ettore Sottsa's, and it's a pleasure for us to have such, an important artist to have produced our labels. So it's a bit of a conglomerate of two things, the opera and Ettore Sottsa's. That would be our wine, our estate in a nutshell. Then we could proceed and go over the wines. Of course, this is another picture where you can see how tiny the plants are. Our plants are no taller than 50 centimeters, 65 centimeters. They're so tiny because if they were taller, being these close to each other, they would project shadows onto each other. So we want them extremely tiny. I don't know if Olavo allows me to, but then we would start talking about the wine.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course, please.
Okay.
We can start to serve the wines also?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
We're going to do also.
Perfect.
To present in Trebbiano. This blend, especially in terms of fruit, have a good balance.
We had to change how we operate in the vines. Again, being organic and most of all having extremely deep roots due to the competition we put vines into each other with. We don't suffer as much as other producers because obviously the deeper the roots go, the more water the plant finds. But again, as you said, Olavo, especially in terms of the ripeness of the grapes and the subsequent level of acidity and sugar, yes, we had to change a lot the way we work. We even had to change some grapes, some varieties. As we'll see later with Syrah, many of us opted to plant something that could absorb the heat and take advantage from that instead of suffering.
Of course.
Yeah, as my dad just stated, is focal for us to change the way we work instead of trying to optimize some old way, some old-fashioned viticulture. We need to evolve both technologically, but most of all in the approach, in the expertise that we put behind wine.
Yes, we have to change the way we treat the soil. We have changed the way in canopy management and especially in the point, the timing of harvest is very important. As well, the climate change also, all kind of work in vines must change to adapt, because the vine is one of the most adaptable.
Yeah, they're extremely capable of adapting to changing climate. But when you do the type of viticulture we do, we usually work with poor soils and already weak land because we want less quantity. So again, Olavo, yes, we have to change a lot the way we work.
Perfect. Thank you.
Pasta.
Yeah,
Toscana.
carbohydrates.
The tasting.
Pasta in Toscana.
The handler is very sweet, but remember, all wine, red and white, are perfect dry, zero sugar residual. So the sweetness of the wine is determined by the ripeness of the grape, the ripeness of the tannins in the skin, not from residual sugar. This is better for the drinkability and for the digestibility.
Yeah, more easier to digest. Obviously, with this sort of implants, we get extremely dense seeds and most of all very thick skin of the grapes. This allows for sweet tannins, especially regarding the seeds. And what my dad is saying is true. You know, if you do any sort of chemical examination of our wines, we have 0 grams per liter of sugar. Even though we do have 0 grams per liter of sugar, we still have a sweet entry, and that is what my dad just mentioned.
It's a co-fermentation, no?
Well, the fermentation must start around 20-25 degrees, no more, and slowly grow up to 30 degrees. We stop the fermentation at 30 degrees, but we don't perform dry fermentation. We start directly around 20 to 25 degrees.
Okay, but they fermented together, all the grapes, or separated?
No. Every grape are picked and fermented separately.
Okay.
We must we have to start the harvest usually in the first week of September with the red grape with the Merlot. The first usually is Merlot. After 1 week, 2 weeks, we start with the Syrah. The week again usually Sangiovese. Sangiovese in the 3rd, 4th week of September.
Okay.
In the end of September, we pick up the Cabernet Franc and Cabernet Sauvignon Petit Verdot for the third.
Okay.
The last to be. But all the wines are vinificated and aged separately until usually March, April of the year. Of the next year. In this period, we start to taste every single variety, and we start to think of the blend.
Okay.
When we start the blend, we continue the aging in wood of each wine, usually from 8 months in Tonneau in the Moreno Red to 24 months for the Camara. When the aging in wood are perfect balance, we do the blend in concrete tank.
Okay.
The wine remains in concrete tank about 6 months, 4-6 months before bottling. For us, it's very important to don't bottle the wine just suddenly dopo il blend.
Yeah, we do wait sometimes with the blend inside the concrete tank before bottling. Yes. So again, we do 3 steps. We do fermentation in stainless steel, divided for all the blends. Then we do tonneaus, so wood, divided, and then we do blend in concrete tank.
Okay, and the fermentation, excuse me, the fermentation are spontaneous fermentation? Natural yeast? Natural yeast?
Usually we use the yeast, indigenous yeast, if the alcohol potential is below the 13 degree.
Okay.
13.5% percent of alcohol potential. If the alcohol potential of the most is over 14 degree, 14%, it's better to use selected one to avoid stop of fermentation and all the problems that come together with the stopping of fermentation.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Want to speak Italian, we can understand, no problem.
Italiano è molto meglio.
Italiano è buono va bene.
Brasiliani tutti un po', italiani.
Nella mia opinione, il merito principale della biodinamica e anche della conduzione biologica, organica, è di avere dato nuovamente importanza al suolo, allo strato nuotico, all'humus nel terreno. Per tanti anni l'agricoltura in Europa è stata dipendente dalla chimica e questo ha sterilizzato molti terreni, ha reso sterile il cosiddetto humus layer. La conduzione organica e anche biodinamica ha dato di nuovo vita a questa parte del terreno, le capacità di trattenere umidità, di trattenere, to keep the water, the humidity, and get back to the vine when vine need. And this is very important for the climate change.
Thank you.
Perfect. I must say, in Italian, it's more elegant.
The most blend of Chianti Classico. 80% of Sangiovese and 20% of Merlot. This blend may change a little bit vintage to vintage, but the average composition of the wine is 80% of Sangiovese and 20% of Merlot. In the tasting of those, the tasting is dominated from the white flower and the violet, the classic Mammola. The smell of Mammola is the classic smell of Sangiovese. And
Esse é elixir da
for
moça.
this one, to the previous one, is the character of the wine was Tuscan character, dominated from Sangiovese. So we can find a little bit aggressivity of the wine, and the tannin is more present, a little bit more rough than the tannins of Syrah. The tannins of Syrah is very velvet, smooth tannin. The Sangiovese, the tannin, little more pungent.
Yeah, it's a bit more, a bit more cheesy, a bit more sticky in the mouth.
So for this reason, the Belcore match well with piatti di carne tagliata toscana, chianina, or as well as asado. Come si chiama? Churrasca.
Yeah, churrasco.
Return because there are other ones much better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Dice che devi tornare perché ci sono
As pessoas estão fugindo disso porque perceberam que o mercado está reticente ao uso de química.
Obrigado. Madonna minha, hein?
Serve it.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Privilege.
Esse aqui, cara, pode pôr 50 quilos a mais nesse vinho.
Também acho que tá barato, não é boa.
Presentinho fácil.
Esse
Gente, o preço tá errado, tá 300.
Tá sempre inflacionando.
Cara, assim,
Mas é verdade.
porque
Please. Sorry, the people are very excited about the wine here. Sorry.
Now we are tasting the Orviglia Vecchia. Vecchia is a very classic Sangiovese style from Tuscany coast. We produce this wine from a part of all vineyard that have the highest average age of the plant, over 50 years. Oldest plant, over 50 years the average age of the vineyard. And when a vine arrives at at that age produce naturally less fruit and naturally became more balanced. More balanced in production as well in growth of the green, remain in very balanced. This is reflected in the taste of the wine. The wine is naturally balanced. The fruity, the acidity, the tannins, the sweetness, and also for us that produce the wine is easier to produce with this kind of vineyard. Purtroppo solo una piccola parte dei nostri vigneti.
Of course, just a small portion of our vineyards possess the age, so we can really put the best Sangiovese that we have into this very wine right here.
Here the tasting is more similar to the Core, but more classic style, old style Tuscany wine. Flower of violet and red fruit tasted. Mirtillo rosso, fragola.
Berries, red berries, and most of all, you can feel how much we try to work with the woods in a way that these do not overcome the fruit. With the sort of viticulture we do, of course, we want the fruit to be the main character. Not the woods, not anything else. And you can feel it right here. You have some smoke, you have some presence of the wood, but the main character is always the red fruit.
There was the rebalance deve essere di fianco al vino.
Of course, just a partner of the fruit.
On the side of the wine, the character and the protagonist must be the fruit and the acidity, the balance of the wine. For this, we don't use barrique, we use only tonneau 500 liters of French wood with a very light toasting inside to have this kind of easy to drink wine.
Yeah, elegance is, the biggest challenge for us with such structured grapes and structured wines is to over-structure. We want always to have big character without over-structuring. This is what my dad was aiming.
Complexity, but not over.
Spettacolare, complimenti, è il proprio elixir d'amore, complimenti. Obrigado.
Foi no aniversário de 15 anos do filho do Lanjão. Da filha do Lanjão. Puta merda. Vai fazer um segundo.
Obrigado.
Já temos 30 já, o vejo daqui.
Is a crew is produced from a vineyard, a small vineyard dedicated to this wine. Is a vineyard of Syrah, 100% of Syrah. It was planted in 1999 and was planted in total of hill, more on sunshine and more on gravel and sandy soil. Very good for the Syrah grape. The Syrah grape need dry soil, not too much clay, not too much humidity. Is completely different from the soil that are good for Merlot. Is the opposite. And in this place, the Syrah found very best condition to produce its grape. The smell of this wine is very full of maybe sherry, black sherry, pepper in the final, and full body wine, but also with a good acidity structure that accompany to the long final of the wine. The challenge for Syrah is the acidity, because character of the Syrah grape is that in the end of the ripeness of the grape, the acidity go down quickly. So it's very, very important the timing of pickup, of harvest. You have to pick up the grape before the acidity go down too much, to have a good balance of the big, sweet, fruit body of Syrah with a good acidity that balances this sweetness.
How you fall in love with Syrah in Toscana?
Well,
Cosa successo?
My father gli piacevano molto i Coderon, i Cotroti, i Syrah della costa del Midi della France.
Sono bellissimi.
Yes, this climate is very similar. Are very near the Mediterranean Sea, very near the coast. Are influenced from the sea breeze, and we have a similar soil. Our soil have up to 70% of sand and gravel, so very drainage soil, and it's very good for Syrah, for Sangiovese, and for Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Franc and Merlot need more clay, humus, humidity, and fat soil, not so skin soil. In this part of our terroir, Syrah adapted very, very well.
Okay.
And
Thank
this
you.
is the result. The vine was taking place, I said, in 1999.
Okay.
The first vintage, the first good vintage of this vineyard was in September 2003. And in September 2003, was in your father.
My granddad died. His dad died.
In this period for the first vintage. So we decided to dedicate the wine to Bruno. Per Bruno is for Bruno is dedicated to Bruno Giusti. That was my father.
Okay. Compliments.
Per Bruno, né?
The result is fantastic. Surprises me.
That's good. Okay.
Do Camara, vamos lá. Aqui um corte bordalês. Primeiro vinho que eles fizeram, né?
96.
I was surprising to know that was the first wine.
Yeah, sure. The Ducamara was the first wine we produced in the new life of the estate. When we start in renew the vineyard production in 1996, me and my father, the first vintage was 1996. Only Ducamara label, only 3,000 of bottles. And year, step by step, year after year, we arrive at moment with 5 labels for red and around 2 whites and 90,000 bottles. And I hope with my son to grow up more. Ducamara is a classic Super Tuscan. A classic also blend of left bank river of Gironde, Médoc. 70% of Cabernet Sauvignon, 25 of Merlot, and a little bit of Petit Verdot. The smell, the tasting is dominated by Cabernet smell, Shirazine, reminded to yellow pepper and red pepper.
Por causa do tamanho.
Kind of extractor, acidity, tannins, fruit. Is a classic taste of Bordeaux blend. A good acidity balances the full body of the wine and help the wine to have a long developed aging in the future.
And very elegant.
Wine have in front 20 years of developing in bottles.
Certainly.
Just today, in the cellar, we perform a rebouchonnage of one bottle of Dulcamara 1987 of a friend of me. And this is the wine. And today we have changed
The way we work,
the corn.
we still get, of course, we did the rebouchonnage, we changed the cork in such a way that obviously the bottle will keep on living. And this is just a proof. We tasted it today, and obviously this shows how much these wines, the potential these wines have in terms of aging. This is something that we are extremely proud of. That really makes us extremely proud again. Yes.
After 27 years, the color was perfect, dark violet, and the tasting is developed but maintain a good fruit. And after 27 years, the tannins became sweet, smooth, perfect. Probably the rebouchonnage had to do after 12, 15 years, not too long time. To be sure that
The cork remains intact and the bottle is not in danger. Yes.
Usually 12, 13 years is the limit for this operation. And sometimes, qualche cliente nostro che ha vecchie bottiglie.
Yeah, we do clients that ask us this sort of services. Yes.
Okay.
When we will try this 97?
Hopefully soon. Next time.
Voglio fare un brindisi con vigna vecchia, che per me è speciale, eh?
Oh, grazie mille, grazie.
Salute!
It's
Saúde.
a pleasure to hear that.
Saúde, gente.
Pessoal, só colocando
Saúde.
Só colocando a taça.
Ainda
Salute. Salute.
Salute! Cent'anni!
Thank you very much for your time and for your wines.
Really, thank you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paolo. Thank you very much, Giacomo. You're beautiful. Thank you very much.
Have a great night. Bye-bye, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.